Good day, everyone. You are welcome to class. Today, we shall be considering study session 4. And the topic is writing reports. Writing reports. Let's start with the introduction. Now, a report is written for a clear purpose and to a particular audience. So some specific information and evidences are presented, analyzed, applied to a particular problem or issue. So the information is presented in a clearly structured format, making use of sections, headings, or titles, so that the information is easy to locate and follow. It is an organized, a factual, and an objective presentation of information. That is what a report is. No, when you write a report, no, it is written for a clear purpose, and it is for a particular audience. That is what a report is. And learning outcomes for study session 4. By the end of the lecture, students should be able to state clearly what a report is. And describe different types of reports. Write different types of reports. State the time of references, and at the same time report an event very vividly in a written form. What is a report? A report is written for a clear purpose and to a particular audience. Don't forget, clear purpose. There is a purpose why a report is written, and also particular audience. So a report is targeted to a particular audience. Some specific information and evidences are presented, analyzed, and applied to a particular problem or issue. And this guide offers a general introduction to report writing, but for subsequent assignment, be sure also to take account of specific instructions provided by your department. What makes a good report? There are two reasons why reports are used as forms of written assessment. Number one, it finds out what you have learned from your reading, research, or experience. Number two, it gives you experience of an important skill that is widely used in the workplace. And an effective report presents and analyzes facts and evidences that are relevant to the specific problem or issue of the report brief. All sources used should be acknowledged and referenced throughout in accordance with the preferred method of your department. It depends on the format the department wants. So the style of writing in a report is usually less discursive, unlike an essay, with a more direct and economic use of words. A well-written report will demonstrate your ability to, number one, understand the purpose of the report brief and adhere to its specifications. Number two, you gather, you evaluate, and analyze relevant information. Number three, structure material in a logical and coherent order. Number four, present your report in a consistent manner according to the instructions of the report brief. And number five, make appropriate conclusions that are supported by the evidence and analysis of the report. And last one, number six, make thoughtful and practical recommendations where required. Now, the structure of a report. The main features of a report are described below to provide a general guide. These should be used in conjunction with the instructions or guidelines provided by the department. Number one is the title page. That is the first thing. The title page. This contains the title of your report and the terms of reference. This should briefly be explicitly describe the purpose of the report if this is not obvious from the title of the work. Other details you must include could be name, matriculation number, or for group assignment, the names and matriculation numbers of the group members and the date for whom the report is written. Terms of references. Under this heading, you could include a brief explanation of who will read the report, that is the audience, and why it is written, that is the purpose. It may be in the form of a subtitle or a single paragraph. Note again that the title and the terms of reference are presented on one page. It should be on one page. Look at this. The attitudes of traders to COVID-19 lockdowns in Lagos, Nigeria in 2020. That is the title. And look at the group members. We have 3 good group members there, and it was done on 15th August 2023. Terms of reference. A term paper submitted in fulfillment of the requirement for GNS 102 General Studies units. So that is the terms of reference. And the school is Federal University of Technology, Akure. Now, summary. The summary of the report should briefly describe the content of the report. That is the summary. It should also cover the aims of the report. The aims of the report, what we found, and what, if any, action is called for. Aim for about half a page in length and avoid detail of information of discussion. Just outline the main points. Remember that the summary is the first thing that is read. It should provide the reader with a clear, helpful overview of the content of the report. Now we have an example abstract. Some restrictions were put in place by countries and states in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic. They included restrictions of incoming flights, travel bans, limited workers' movement, and tagging some jobs as essential, reducing the number of workers who could go to work, and shutting down markets except for those selling foods and medicines. These restrictions are referred to as lockdowns. In Lagos State, the lockdowns were initially restricted by many traders who saw them as a punishment. So 50% of traders sampled felt that the lockdown helped to stop the spread of the pandemic, while 45% did not accept that a lockdown was necessary. So 80% felt the lockdown was badly managed, as the government did not give support to traders who could not work during the lockdown. A majority of the traders claim not to have benefited from the palliatives that government claimed to have distributed. So all these are the points that we are expected to give under the abstract. Under the abstract, these are the points we are expected under the abstract. Now let's say the outline. The next page contains an outline of the content. So you need to outline the content, the table of content in the report. So in books, thesis, and long reports which have chapters, the outline list the different chapters and or headings together with the page numbers. So that outline is referred to as a table of contents. That is it. So however, in the short academic report to be presented for this course, the term to be used is outline. You might not use table of content. You might just what you are going to be making use of is what? Outline. Now, definition. An outline provides formal and detailed information of the content and the structure of a written or spoken text. We say it is formal because it is constructed according to some rules. That is why it is formal. We make use of some rules whenever we are constructing or we are making our outlines. So, and it is detailed because it contains all the important ideas of the communication. So that's why it is detailed. So now let's see the purpose. It presents the key ideas and important details in a text, as well as the relationships between these ideas. So an outline is useful for the following, and we have outline for planning, we have outline for writing assignment, for we also have outline for preparing for examinations, we also have outline for taking and making notes, summarizing, studying, among others. So now let's see construction. An outline must accurately represent the structure of the material in question, as well as the relationships between the ideas it contained. So this suggests that the major divisions and minor subdivisions of our outline must correspond exactly with the main ideas and the important details of the report. That is what an outline does. So in addition, the relationship between the main ideas and the important details must match the relationship expressed in the report. Introduction. The introduction prepares the scene for the main body of the report. This is an advanced indicator of the content, and in some cases the structure of the rest of the paper, time paper, and other forms of writing, academic writing. It could be our thesis or anything. The introduction is where we make a first impression on your readership. The aim of the report should be explained in details any problem or problems or limitations in the scope of the report should be identified, and a description of research methods, the parameters of the research, and any necessary background history should be included. So we have the frame below will help us to view our introductions as having 4 communicative parts or moves. Now we have the first part: present a general overview of your writing. That is what the first move is all about. So you just present a general view of your writing. Number 2, defines key terms: academic, ceremony, waste management, climate change, water pollution, among others. Number 3, mention the area, the location under consideration or discussion. Number 4, present the aim of the study or investigation. And number 5, present the scope or structure of the study, that is a plan of development. Okay, now literature review is another point there. So a literature review discusses published information on a subject. What has been said concerning a particular subject area and evaluate it. So by recognizing, integrating, and evaluating previously published material, so a researcher considers the progress of research toward clarifying a problem, and uses the literature as a foundation and support for any new insights that they contribute. So according to the publication manual of the American Psychological Association, APA, that is APA, authors use a literature review to define and clarify the problem, summarize previous investigations, to inform the reader of the state of research. Identify relations, contradictions, gaps, and inconsistencies in the literature and suggest the next step or steps in solving the problem. So literature reviews provide a handy guide to every research topic and provides an overview of what is already known about the topic. So for short academic reports, such as the one you are going to write, on academic ceremonies, focus on answering two related questions. What do these sources say about my topic? That is the first question. Does it make sense? So your review should not be more than 200 to 300 words, in your 1000 to 1005 word academic reports. Now discussion, which is the body, the main body. The main body of the report is where you discuss your material, the facts and evidence you have gathered should be analyzed and discussed with specific reference to the problem or issue. If your discussion section is lengthy, you might divide it into section headings. Your points should be grouped and arranged in an order that is logical and easy to follow. As presented in your outline, use headings and subheadings to create a clear structure for your material. You use bullet points to present a series of points in an easy to follow list. As with the whole report, all sources used should be acknowledged and correctly referenced. So all the sources, all the scholars you are going to quote in your body, you must acknowledge them and you must reference them correctly. And the last one is conclusion. In the conclusion, you should show the overall significance of what has been covered. You may want to remind the reader of the most important points that have been made in the report, or highlight what you consider to be the most central issues or findings. And however, no new material should be introduced in the conclusion. This section serves to make appropriate conclusions that are supported by the evidence and analysis of the report, and make thoughtful and practical recommendations where required. And appendices, we also have appendices after the conclusion. Under this heading, you should include all the supporting information you have used that is not published. This might include tables. You can put graphs, questionnaires, surveys, or transcripts. Refer to the appendices in the body of your report. So in order to assess how much 100 level students knew about COVID-19, a questionnaire, which is appendix 2, was distributed to 100 students. So the results, appendix 3, suggests that only a few students are well informed about the disease. The reference. So your references should be listed in alphabetical order by author according to their names. It should consist of all published sources referred to in your report. There are different styles of using references and bibliographies. You need to consult the source, that means writing references for guidance. The essential stages of writing the report. All reports need to be clear, must be concise and well structured. The key to writing an effective report is to allocate time for planning and preparation. With careful planning, the writing of a report will be made much easier. The essential stages of successful report writing are described below. Though you need to consider how long each stage is likely to take and divide the time before the deadline between the different stages. So be sure to leave time for final proofreading and checking. The stage 1, that is understanding the instructions. The first stage is the most important stage. You need to be confident that you understand the purpose of your report as described in your report brief or instructions. Consider who the report is for and why it is being written. While you are writing the report, check that you understand all the instructions or requirements, and ask your tutor if anything is unclear. Stage number 2, gathering and selecting information. Once you are clear about the purpose of your report, you need to begin to gather relevant information. That is the next stage. You gather relevant information. Your information may come from a variety of sources, but how much information you will need will depend on how much detail is required in the report. So that means what you are going to include in the report will determine the sources, the information you are going to get. So you may want to begin by reading relevant literature to widen your understanding of the topic or issue before you go on to look at other forms of information such as questionnaires, surveys, among others. As you read and gather information, you need to assess its relevance to your report. How relevant are these information to the report I'm writing, and select accordingly. Keep referring to your report brief to keep you decide what is relevant information. We also have another one, which is organizing your material. Once you have gathered information, you need to decide what will be included and in what sequence it should be presented. Begin by grouping together points that are related. These may form sections. That is it. Remember, to keep referring to the point, to the report brief, and be prepared to cut any information that is not directly relevant to the report. You can cut it off. So you choose an order for your material that is logical and easy to follow. Use a spidergram to organize your material before turning it into an outline. Stage number 4, analyzing your material. Before you begin to write your first draft of the report, take time to consider and make notes on the points you will make using the facts and evidence you have gathered. You make use of the evidence you have gathered, the facts you have gathered. What conclusions can be drawn from the material you have gathered? What are the limitations or flaws in the evidence? Do certain pieces of evidence conflict with one another? It is not enough to simply present the information you have gathered. You must relate it to the problem or issue described in the report. Stage number 5, writing the report. Now you want to write the report. Having organized your material into appropriate sections and headings, you can begin to write the first draft of your report. You may find it easier to write the summary and content page at the end when you know exactly what will be included. Aim for a writing style that is direct and precise. Avoid a waffle and make your point clearly and concisely. Chapters, sections, and even individual paragraphs should be written with a clear structure. The structure described below can be adopted, and applied to chapters, sections, and even paragraphs. You introduce the main idea of the chapter, section, or paragraph. You explain and expand the idea, defining any key terms. Present relevant evidence to support your point. Comment on each piece of evidence, showing how it relates to your point. Conclude your section or paragraph by either showing its significance to the report as a whole or making a link to the next section or paragraph. Stage 6, reviewing and redrafting. Ideally, you should leave time to take a break before you review your first draft. Be prepared to rearrange and rewrite sections in the light of your review. Try to read the draft before the perspective of the reader. Is it easy to follow with a clear structure that makes sense? Are the points concisely but clearly explained and supported by relevant evidence? Writing on a word processor makes it easier to rewrite and rearrange sections or paragraphs in your first draft. If you write your first draft by hand, try writing each section on a separate piece of paper to make redrafting work easier. We have section 7, presentation, which is a user checklist. So once you are satisfied with the content and structure of your redrafting report, you can turn your attention to the presentation. Check that the wording of each chapter, each section, each subheading is clear and accurate. Check that you have adhered to the instructions in your report brief regarding format and presentation. Check for consistency in numbering of chapters, numbering of sections, and appendices. Make sure that all your sources are acknowledged and correctly referenced. You will need to read your report for errors of spelling or grammar. If time allows, proofread more than once. So errors in presentation or expression create a poor impression and can make the report difficult to read. And the next stage is stage 8, which is design your document. Refer to the material on document design. Checklist for improving your reports writing. Checklist for first draft. Is my title correctly written? Have I answered the question? Have I chosen the appropriate words and structure? Have I divided the essay up into appropriate segments? Have I ordered the segments appropriately? Is my introduction effective and to the point? Is my conclusion effective and fitting? Are my arguments presented in a clear and logical sequence? Are all my arguments well supported? Is my text of appropriate length? Have I included all relevant information? Have I excluded all irrelevant information? So all these questions you ask before drafting. That is it. And another thing, another checklist for final drafting is number 1. Have I checked the length of my sentences? Have I rephrased all long, windy sentences? Have I chosen the appropriate level of formality? Have I replaced commonly used general words with more specific and accurate ones? Have I made any spelling errors? Have I used the punctuations appropriately? Have I made any grammatical mistakes? These are the questions you ask yourselves for you to write an effective report. Now we have come to the end of the study session 4. Summary. This guide has been written to provide a general introduction to writing reports. It outlines the typical structure of a report and provides a step-by-step guide to producing reports that are clear and well structured. So going through these units should be an eye-opener for any students. Knowing how to report events will assist the students not only in their studies but also in day-to-day activities or life. If a student finds himself working as a journalist tomorrow, this unit will be an asset to him. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope and I believe that you have gained one or two things in this study session 4. See, we meet again next week. Thank you for listening. Enjoy your day.